Thank you to our sponsor, AG1. Hey, since I've started using AG1, I feel fantastic. Absolutely. If there's one product I could recommend to elevate your health, it's AG1, and that's why I'm so excited that we have them as a partner.
Yes, if you want to take ownership of your health, it starts with AG1. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3, K2, and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase at drinkag1.com/pretend. That's drinkag1.com/pretend. Check it out. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Pretend Problems podcast. I'm Fortune Feemster.
Oh, and I'm Malcolm Gladwell.
Oh, wow. That would be a really great podcast, the two of them.
No kidding.
Fortune with Anybody is a great podcast.
Yeah, that's true.
We love Fortune.
Legend.
Darn it, Bungaloo. Guys, number one, go Timberwolves.
Do it.
Fuck yeah. So exciting. I flew to Austin on Sunday to be with Chad and to watch his show at Comedy Mothership, which was the same time as Game 7 of the Timberwolves. And we were so excited when Chad got off stage to see they won.
Yeah.
This is like a big thing for Minnesota. I'm new here, but you've been telling me, like, look, this is not how this happens.
Minnesota sports normally, other than the Minnesota Twins in 87 and 91, tend to just give up.
Kind of shit the bed.
They tend to give up. They see one bad thing happens and you can feel the entire momentum of the state like slowing down. But these Timberwolves, they get down 20 in the third quarter and still come back and win by 8. Really something.
Yeah. Anthony Edwards, what a machine.
Yeah. Apologies to our listeners from Denver who had to watch both of their teams exit the playoffs within 2 days of one another. But welcome to Minnesota sports, dude. Welcome.
Yes. And we've been discussing, okay, do we want to go to one of these games? And my God, it's just so expensive.
They're spendy.
Jesus.
I would have loved, I'd like to get in a time machine and go back maybe, I don't know, let's say 10 years.
Yeah.
And start a company that buys tickets and then resells them for hundreds of dollars over face value.
It's fucking nuts.
Yeah. I'd love to just be on my private island.
Yeah.
Running a sex ring. Wait, what? I'd love to be on my private island and just honestly just like doing absolutely nothing while the program I wrote buys and sells these tickets. It's insane.
It's so unfair.
Yeah, it's brutal. I mean, how bad do you want, like, listen, I have a TV.
Yeah, we've decided against buying the tickets for now and just being like, look, we can have friends over, we can eat whatever we want. We can be as loud as we want.
Yeah.
In the comfort of our own home. We have so many email
By the way,
updates.
Yeah, let me say something. I would love to say something. So we had talked about me at a baseball game and how I was yelling. I don't curse.
Yeah.
I was just yelling, like normal stuff that everyone was thinking. Mm-hmm. And then when you came to Austin, we went to Cooper's Barbecue, shout out. And you put one of the, I can't remember what it was, maybe the brisket in your mouth. And you go, what the fuck? And there's a 12-year-old kid behind you. And it's like, that's worse than what I'm doing at a baseball game. Just because your friends are there that can't handle a little volume. Unbelievable. Now this kid's walking around like, what happened to that lady, Mom? Mom and Dad, did you hear that lady say, what the fuck? Was she mad at the guy she was with? What's happening? I don't know what life is supposed to be. Now this kid's spinning out of control. Oh my God.
The drama.
All because I can't question $1 million contract if a motherfucker can't throw strikes. Please.
Well, you'll be delighted to know that the majority of the emails that came in are on your side.
I'll say boom, boom, boom. And by the way, the majority and the minority of the emails that came in that are not on my side, fucking wrong. And no fun. And why don't you just play chess in a park with a muzzle on? Ugh.
Oh my God. The sass is at 1,000 today.
It really is. I feel great. I'm in a great mood. But sometimes here's my problem. When I'm in a real great mood, it's at the expense of others. Because then it's just nonstop horseshit.
Was there really a 12-year-old behind me?
Yeah. A 12-year-old and a 7-year-old, but the 7-year-old did not turn his head. The 12-year-old did.
When I said, what the fuck?
Uh-huh. Oh. And I didn't tell you because I was saving it for right now.
Oh, you. You know, I will say that is something that you're very good at is because you're a parent. You're very aware of when there are kids around.
I don't know if it's because I'm a parent. It's because I'm a contributing member of society that's not sending these kids to 3rd grade saying fuck. A lot of these kids get driven to school because their parents don't want them on the bus to hear stuff like finger bang. And now they're going out just to eat. A family lunch. It's daylight. It's 2 p.m. And you got old curse word over here because of a piece of meat. What the fuck? And this kid turns his head around like, what's going on over there?
I mean, they shouldn't make their barbecue so good.
It was very good barbecue.
It should come with a warning that says, don't bring your kids in here because people are having that can come in their mouth.
Bring them to a baseball game.
Yeah.
Where they're not going to hear the F word because some people are classy.
Oh, you. I am going to share the emails later in the episode of the people on your side.
Great.
And the one person who is not on your side.
Okay.
But
what's her name?
It's you are really in a chody mood right now. I mean, you cannot be stopped. God. Honestly,
I might pause the podcast and try to virtually get accepted to a frat. I'm not
with
sure.
that hat, and they'll let you right in.
What's up, boy?
Anyway, when Chad and I were looking at tickets for the Timberwolves games, I was like, God, it's like going to a concert. And you were like, I mean, it's kind of like that sort of an experience. And that is a perfect segue into that Chad and I went and saw Justin Timberlake in concert.
Yeah, we did.
And it was my favorite concert I've ever been to, which says a lot. I've been to a lot of concerts. I've seen him a lot of times. And man, if you are a longtime Justin Timberlake fan, I can't recommend going to a show on this tour enough. He really made it feel like there wasn't a bad seat in the house. He walked through the floor multiple times
on the
multiple
floor,
areas.
That would be, listen, he's not Jesus Christ. As much as he's not Jesus Christ. That's not what JT stands for. He's Justin Timberlake. So he was walking on the floor through the crowd.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Jesus Christ is his bandmate, JC Chasez. Hey, look at. I brought all that around. That was impressive.
No, I will say this. Points. So I think his new album is fantastic.
Yeah.
I think he is mature. I think we've talked about this. I will tell you right now, anytime Justin Timberlake at the beginning of a song is like, hey girl, I just want to say one thing to you before I get started. I'm like, fucking get started, bitch. No one needs to hear your diatribe about this. Whatever you're about to say, cut the shit. Because you are a walking example of cultural appropriation. Walking around like, hey, y'all, I just want to tell you something. Hey, girl, are you listening? If you're not listening, are you reading what I'm writing in text message? Because give me a beat before I get started. Shut up. Get started already. You're a musician. No one wants to hear your poetry, you dumb dick. So anyways, none of that stuff, not a lot of that stuff on his new album. And I think it's great. There's a lot of different variety in the music. And I think clearly this dude is super funny, super entertaining.
Yeah.
And I did think it was great.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
And I will say the floor seats we got were not insanely expensive. They were not that much more than the other areas. And we weren't like up by the stage. It was like toward the back. But I've been seeing on TikTok people posting these videos of him walking through the crowd. And I was like, Jesus, if we are by there, I'm going to lose my fucking mind. And like halfway through the show, the security people start kind of like moving people aside. And I was like, oh yeah, it's happening. It's happening. It's happening. And he walked right by. I just posted the video on my Instagram, Kelsey Cook Comedy. And I could have touched him. It was crazy.
Yeah. And she tagged me in the video. That's Chad Daniels.
Yes.
I'm just kidding.
Go follow both of us. But
he got close enough. He almost high-fived Kelsey and then saw her Aura ring on her index finger and was like, fuck that shit. I'm not high-fiving this bass player from a cover band.
It's like, if you're here, who's playing bass up there? Yeah. Get up there. That's very funny. I can't stop wearing it. It's very comfortable now. I like it.
There was a lady who came to the concert by herself.
Yeah.
And she was very Susan Boyle, if you know America's Got Talent. And she was like, "Whoa, well, it's very nice to be here. Very nice to be here. I come here by myself because when
Did she have an accent like that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
And anyways, she goes because she doesn't want people to complain about the tickets she gets. So she goes by herself and she sits wherever she wants. But then Kelsey left and went to the bathroom, which took, I don't know, hour and a half.
The lines were.
And so I'm sitting there with Susan
insane.
Boyle, and she's talking my ear off, which I honestly don't care. Nice to have that going on. But while it's happening, a guy comes down from the crowd. I knew where he was sitting. He was sitting like behind us and up in the actual fold-out seats, like the thingies. And he goes, "Hey, man, don't want to bug you. Just want to know, I've been to your shows when you've been in San Diego. I was wondering if I could snag a picture." And I go, "Yeah, of course." And we take a picture, and then I sit back down, and this woman goes, "Oh, no. Am I supposed to know who you are?" And I said, "Absolutely not." And she goes, "Well, what was that about?" And I go, "I don't know." And then the girl behind me taps me on the shoulder, and she goes, "Who are you?" And I said, "Nobody." And then she said, "Well, that's like, what am I?"
Oh, I know. It's so funny. It's like that's Chad's nightmare, is to be asked to explain like what his star status is, what he does for a living.
I am so happy to be recognized and to have people want a picture. That means a lot, because it means like what you're doing has a little bit of value to at least someone. But to have to turn around and go, "Who are you?" It's like, I'm not going to, are you famous? Clearly not. If you don't know who I am, right? It's like,
but if people are taking a picture, then you could say.
But anyways, so then this lady goes, "Okay, you said you guys are from Minnesota, and I'm gonna say you're a former hockey player. Can I tell you something? That's one of the greatest compliments I've ever gotten."
Yeah.
One time, Sean Patton, with my tattoos and everything, was like, "You look like you just retired from the Navy SEALs." And I thought, that's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. And former hockey player, I added another former. I said, "I look like a former hockey player." But so then you came back. You didn't know really what was going on. And then I'm sitting there. There's a DJ playing. Everyone's having fun. I'm sitting down. Some people around us are dancing up, standing up. I'm sitting there, and this lady kind of keeps looking over her shoulder in our direction, and then she leans forward and is talking to her friends, and they're like kind of giggling and turning around. And so in my head, I'm assuming they're all saying, "Look at old curmudgeon-y Joe back there, not having fun, not dancing, not moving, sitting in his seat." Well, then she comes over and says she's a fan of the podcast, and this podcast says she loves when the cat's on your lap and everything like that. So we know you had a great time because we were behind you. We got to see all the dancing. We got to see what maybe was you high-fiving.
I think the video I posted,
Jesus Christ,
he's like dancing for a second with somebody in the crowd and then gives a high five. And I think it was you. So if that was you, my God, I am thrilled for you. Cool. It was very nice to meet you. Thank you for coming up. And of course I'm not there as these people are saying like, "Oh, who are you?" Because I would have immediately been like, "He's Chad Daniels. He's a comedian. Here's his social media. Go follow him. Go watch his YouTube special." I would have. But here's like when people
she would have been my Flavor Flav.
I would have hyped him up.
Yeah, boy. He's Chad Daniels. He's a comedian you might not have heard of. Because here's what happened. The lady behind me.
So much caffeine today.
No, I haven't.
I thought you said you drank extra for your audition this morning.
Oh, yeah, I guess I had the normal amount.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, my God. I just love it. You've got blue sky energy without blue sky, and it's fun.
I do. I told you. So here's what I've been doing. Can I give you guys a little, maybe I brought this up before on the podcast, but every hour I check in on myself instead of doing it just at night. Every hour I just go, "How are the gauges? How are you feeling? If you're feeling a certain way, what do we need to do to right the ship?"
Yeah.
So I've been checking in, and I've been really concentrating on like the fun, good things. I've been in a great mood. I've been in a great mood.
It really has. It's been very nice.
But this lady behind me, I wouldn't tell her who I was because she's not gonna know, right? Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm going to let you walk into this.
I'm just curious why you wouldn't go, oh, I'm a comedian.
Yeah, I don't know. Because I'll tell you, because then I'm not interested in seeing the disappointment on their face. Like, oh. Because here's what happened. See?
Why would anybody do that?
Okay, but listen to this. Then she went over, found the guy that took the picture, asked him.
She did?
Yep. And then she came back and she just goes, I don't know, Chad Daniels or something. So like, what the fuck? That's I'm going to if she's going to have that kind of attitude and have that kind of tone when she finds out, she's going to have to get her fucking ass off the seat and go find the guy. I'm not going to give her that. I'm not going to give her that ammunition. I don't like doing it.
About all this.
I was happy that the guy said that. I was happy that the lady came back. I don't also want to go, oh, I'm a comedian and have someone go, oh, not into it.
I know, but she wouldn't have done that to you. She was probably just.
You don't know that.
Options. You're being so negative right now. You're making all these assumptions.
Being very positive about the other two.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
And Susan Boyle.
I know. I'm just saying. If you had been like, I'm a comedian, she probably would have been like, oh, cool. Can I like look you up? And if you gave her your name, she probably would have been like, oh, cool. Like,
okay.
She wouldn't be like, I mean, Chad Daniels, like, she wouldn't have done that if you were telling her.
Here's what we're going to do. Mm-hmm. Next time I'm in this situation, I am going to do that. Mm-hmm. Because I am at the level right now where people, it's interesting. I texted you this.
Yeah.
Because it happened again at the Orange County Airport.
He got recognized like 4 different times this past week. It was crazy.
But I'm at the point where they go, hey, excuse me, are you Chad Daniels? I'm at that point where I have to go, yes. And they go, oh, okay. Well, just so you know, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But here's what's going to happen. When it happens again and someone goes, oh, who are you? I'm going to go, I'm a comedian. And then you better bet your sweet ass, full report here on Pretend Problems Podcast.
Pretend. You're on Pretend.
Hi, y'all, hold up. On Pretend Problems Podcast, you're going to get a full account of what happened.
Yeah. And by the way, if this is your first episode that you're listening to and you hear me say options and you're like, what the fuck was that? We talked about on a recent episode that Chad has told me if I feel like he's being negative about something, that I can say options to help him.
Because I know I always have at least 10 different options.
Yeah. We're just saying.
Oh, don't mind me picking this fucking pet hair.
I had to do the same thing.
Out of my
like
mouth.
5 minutes ago. God, they just shed so much.
Options. I love the pets. See how it works? Options. These pets make me feel good when I come home from the road. Oh.
Well, there was a woman standing next to us on the other side of me at the concert that could also be a part of the options conversation, because after Justin Timberlake walks by us within like a foot of us, she goes, well, I think we really got robbed, because he had stopped for a second, like 2 feet down, and he didn't stop in front of us. And I just wanted to be like, lady,
yeah,
what is your perspective on life right now that wasn't good enough?
This is what happens when a father calls their daughter princess after 12 years old.
Yeah.
Up until 12, I say go for it. After 12, you're going to get a lot of that. Why didn't he stop in front of us?
He's didn't like dance with me. It's like
right. I mean, imagine how many that concert would be 12 hours long. And there'd still be people like, he didn't make it all the way up here.
I know. And I had to tell her, I was like, he's going to walk right here. I saw this online. Like, she didn't even know.
Right.
She did not go to the concert thinking this was going to even happen. And then like the second it did, immediately ungrateful. Like, it wasn't good enough. I was just like, God damn. I mean, it was just kind of like a funny reminder to be like, well, there really are 2 different ways you can look at things. Glass half full or glass half empty. You can be like, Jesus Christ, he just walked by me. That is so cool. I never thought I would get to like be right there at a concert like that. And then there are people that are like, no, didn't stop and dance with me.
Yeah.
It's like, man. Anyway, kind of made me laugh.
Yeah, that is. I love it.
Yeah, yeah. And then after that, we went and saw my two nieces for the day. And it's funny timing because Chad and I had just talked on the podcast about having kids together.
Yep, we sure did.
And I've seen some emails of people being like, "Oh man, when you said come to terms with that seemed like really like devastating." I guess maybe that I understand that has a different connotation than maybe how I meant it. It's not something that I've like mourned the idea of if I am not a mom. I have for a very long time kind of been like, yeah, I don't think that's the right thing for me. And then of course though, like being with Chad and like watching you with your kids and watching you with my nieces, it is like, oh, you know, you do get a little bit of that like, man.
Everybody wants to have a baby with daddy. You know that's right.
Everyone wants a piece of the pie.
Everybody wants to watch me raise their children because I'm all right at it.
It's true. I mean, God, I was watching Chad play with my niece Emmy on the playground, and he's doing the whole like, she comes down the slide. He's like picking her up, throwing her in the air. They're doing little puzzles together. He's like calling her honey. And I'm just like, oh, God, I'm going to fucking walk into the bathroom and rip this IUD out myself. I just like can't handle it. I mean, it's so sweet. But then you also do realize that there's a world where I can watch you be sweet with my nieces and be sweet with your kids. And we can sleep in and go on vacation to Europe without.
Right.
Or go to a restaurant and get sushi without a kid going, I like fish. The thing that you said.
Yeah. I mean, let's be very clear about something. I can be extremely sweet with children, but when they're mine, I'm like a no-nonsense dad. We talked about how when Emmy was crying about something, you were like, I think I would just give in. I'm like, no, I wouldn't give in. that would be the end of it. And I told you this, I'm not a count backwards from 3 person. Like you see parents that do that. And by the way, if you are one, I'm really not judging you. Yeah. It's just, that was not the condition that I wanted to make, where it's like, hey, go clean your room. No. Go clean your room. No. I'm going to count back from 3. For me, it was, go clean your room. No. Okay, I'm taking all this.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, there was, it wasn't a, I'm going to negotiate situation, or I'm going to give you a countdown. That's the silliest thing for me personally, because I don't have the wherewithal for that.
Well, I think your kids really respect you, and it's cool to see, because I think sometimes there is a dynamic of like respect out of fear in like a very militant house where there isn't a lot of love, but your kids like love you and respect you, which I think is a really cool thing to pull off.
Well, that's nice. I think they act like they respect me in front of me so I can give them money. That's what I think. But listen, I'll take fake respect from the kids any day. But yeah, we talked about different parenting styles. And when I was mentioning how I would handle things, you were like, I don't know if I want to have a baby. And I also want to say, just throwing it out, just in case anyone thinks it, when she said, I've come to terms with not having a baby, I was not doing any sort of like Ben Stiller from Happy Gilmore, like, you will go to sleep or I will put you to sleep. You're in my world now. Check out the name tag. It was none of that.
It was actually the exact opposite. And I can't remember if we've mentioned that on here, that you told me, hey, if you are really like a 10 out of 10, I need to have a baby, that we would have a baby. Like you wouldn't, if you felt like that was so important to me that you said you wouldn't stop me from.
Yeah, there was like basically one reason that I would need you to be convinced about that I would do it, because I feel like then it would be keeping a very important thing from someone I love. And I just don't, if you do have the option, I mean, it's hard. Like if you think about me having a kid right now, I would be 67 years old, which is a year older than my grandpa when he died, when that kid graduated. So you think about, you do think about death coming into it. So you go, well, if I die, then I want you to have someone like whatever, right?
Right.
And but then you also think about it like, well, if I did die, like that's starting the kid off with,
I know.
it's tough. It's a really tough situation, but
Yeah, it is not black and white. There are just so many things about it that make it a gray area. But going and visiting my nieces who are 2.5 and 5 months old, it is a good in-person reminder of like, it's not the Instagram life, right? It's not just the cute pictures I get sent of them. It's seeing what truly minute by minute raising 2 kids at that age looks like. And I mean, I don't think I could love those kids more than I love them. Right. And it's still like very hard. And so I did say to Chad at one point, I was like, let's not have kids because it's exhausting. It's a
so
big lifestyle choice.
I mean, you see the picture of a parent and child, holding a colored rainbow.
Yeah.
And then what you don't see are the 2 hours beforehand of eat your fucking lunch for Christ's sake. And you leave for a second to like wash something, and all of a sudden they're writing on the walls with the crayons. It's a lot. Ultimately, is it worth it? I think so. Being a dad is one of my favorite things, but I am happy to, release my children into their lives as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And not just the things you don't see being writing on the wall. It's like safety stuff. I mean, my sister-in-law was saying that my niece started to like choke on a blueberry the other day. And when I was there with her, she like fell backward off the dining room table, shit like that. I'm like, I don't know how I would handle it. I think I would have a breakdown.
Well, I'll tell you how I'd handle it. I pushed her niece off the kitchen table because I was like, I'm done. Chew your fucking blueberries. And that's how I parent. And that's why we're not having a baby.
And that's why we're not having a baby. Okay.
If there's one product I had to recommend to elevate your health, it is AG1. And that's why I'm so excited to have them as a new sponsor. I first gave AG1 a try because I was looking for something that would be easier on the road instead of having to go find a salad bar in the morning or something like that. So I just take it, I put it in the little shaker. I have my individual bags of it, and so I just rip the top off, put it in the shaker, put some water in, all of a sudden, done. Mm-hmm. Pretty simple.
Yep. Since
drinking AG1 daily, I have felt just fantastic, better. I still eat pancakes sometimes when I go out to eat, but I feel like I can have them more confidently because I already have a ton of nutrients in my body, and so that feels great.
Absolutely. And that's because AG1 is a foundational nutrition supplement that supports your body's universal needs like gut optimization, stress management, and immune support. Since 2010, AG1 has led the future of foundational nutrition, continuously refining their formula to create a smarter, better way to elevate your baseline health. Not only can you replace your multivitamin with AG1, but we love that every scoop also includes prebiotics, probiotics, and digestive enzymes for gut support. You guys know how important gut health is to me. On this show, we talk a lot about my IBS issues. I recommend AG1 to all my family and friends because AG1 has a team of doctors and scientists behind it. It's tested for 950 contaminants and is NSF certified for sports.
I actually have a friend, Kelly, who told me about AG1 before we had them as a sponsor on the podcast. He brings it on all the golf trips and he swears by it. And I actually took some because, you're out drinking, you're doing this stuff. You want to have some nutrients in your body. And so I started taking it on the golf trip and felt better in the morning because that's what it's about, right? I'll take it in the morning. I'll stretch. Mm-hmm. I will. And I don't feel so sloshy in my stomach like you do when you do some smoothies. And then I go down to the gym and I just know that when I'm at the hotel gym that I have some good things flowing through my body while I'm working. So it doesn't seem like a waste of a workout.
Totally.
So if there's one product I had to recommend to elevate your health, it's AG1. And that's why I'm so excited that they are a new partner. If you want to take ownership of your health, it starts with AG1. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3, K2, and 5 AG1 travel packs with your first purchase at drinkag1.com/pretend.
Yes, that's drinkag1.com/pretend. Check it out, guys. And now back to the show. Anyway, should we get to the middle segment?
Let's do it.
Okay. Bungalow dropped them on the ground. I can remember from memory. So we pulled from the...
Wait a second. You're going to remember from memory?
I can remember from memory.
Okay. Sounds ballsy.
These are... Hush. This is coming from the game We're Not... Oh, thank you. Mm-hmm. We're Not Really Strangers, which is a game we've pulled cards from before. They're not sponsored. We just think it's a very fun game, and it's like good questions to ask your partner, your friends, or people you just met for the first time if you're in like a group setting and you want to play like a group game. So the question today was give your partner a compliment about something that you don't think they hear enough.
Okay.
So do you want to start or give this person a compliment?
Yes. You want me to go first?
Sure.
Okay. I think you are a fantastic daughter.
Oh, thank you.
Now, because of your mom's dementia, people may think I'm just talking about that, but I'm not just talking about that. I'm talking about across the board. I think you're a great daughter. I do think you take very good care of your mom, but the way you talk about your dad and his talents and your stepmom and her fun-loving nature and cooking and just how smart she is, like, you know, whatever. I just think across the board, you don't hear that a lot from people that are living their lives, that take the time to actually just, you know, give their parents compliments. But I think you're a great daughter.
Thank you. Yeah. That's so nice. I mentioned this a little bit in the kitchen, but I do think it's something that you don't get told enough. I think you're so thoughtful in how you approach people going through a hard time or people navigating something. And I think your brain does work in such like you can think about a lot of things at once.
So maybe we don't change it. Maybe it sounds like a pretty fucking good brain. Maybe we leave it alone and quit assigning different values to it.
I knew you were going to say that. So your sister was just here and she was talking to us about something she's going through. And you didn't have like a big reaction to it. But you told me that you texted her afterward and just like let her know like, hey, I know I didn't have a big reaction to that, but I also know you're going on vacation and I like didn't want to like put you in a bad headspace, but I would really like to talk about it when you get back. And I just like, I love how aware you were of all of that. And on Mother's Day, you know, obviously Mother's Day is a really hard day for me now with my mom being sick. And Chad got me a card and just wrote like the nicest. I just like, I couldn't picture a more loving, kind card on Mother's Day. And yeah, the way you think about others when they're going through a hard time is, I think, really great.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Sometimes we're very sweet on this podcast. Should we plug dates and then should we do some questions?
Surely.
Okay. So let's see. I am going to be in Kansas City in June. And then on the Burt tour with Chad, we're going to Georgia, South Carolina, and Florida. In July, I'm going to be in Raleigh and Charlotte. In September, I'm going to be in Timonium/Baltimore and Fort Collins. In October, I'm going to be in Omaha and Phoenix. In November, I'm going to be in Dania Beach and Providence. And then in December, I'm in Austin and San Antonio. So you can get tickets at kelseycook.com.
Sweet. Yeah. Listen, I'm going to be in Springfield, Missouri in June 7th and 8th. And then I'm going to be in that Burt thing, of course, with you. A lot of funny comedians joining us. Dave Attell, Dan Soder, Mark Normand, Kyle Kinane, and Big J. Okerson. Okay. Maybe some others. I guess I don't really know. Then in July 12th and 13th, I am going to be in the Detroit area. Please come see that show. Fucking you asked. You better come. And then September, I'm going to be in Spokane, Washington, and Tampa. October, I'm going to be in Madison and Columbus. November, I'm going to be in... Oh, I can't see that far. Oh, Denver and San Francisco and Sacramento. And then I'll be in Salt Lake City and Las Vegas in December.
Hell yeah. ChadDaniels.com/tour.
Thank you.
Did I get it right?
Yeah.
Yes. All right.
Let's do it.
So if you guys want to write into the podcast, it is pretendproblemspodcast@gmail.com. And as per usual, man, we got so many good ones after last week's episode.
Yeah.
We're like, it's so exciting to see because I open the inbox and it's just like, holy shit. We are actively, I know we keep mentioning Patreon, we are truly actively in the process of getting it set up. And so
I'd like to know though, if we read these questions on Patreon, they send them for the main podcast.
Yeah.
Are they going to feel cheated or slighted if we read it on the Patreon? The only way they wouldn't is if everyone signed up.
And then it's just going to be
Is this doing anything? Is this doing anything?
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
Yeah, everyone should sign up.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not, that's the hard sell, but then you're going to hear all the questions.
Yeah. Also, sometimes these questions are very personal and, don't want their name to be shared. Maybe they would prefer that it's a Patreon, a little bit more intimate.
I don't know. But listen, there's not going to be any rhyme or reason to choosing Patreon versus the normal feed. I think it's just, we're just going to do it how we do it.
Yeah.
You get what you get and you don't throw a fit, kind of a thing.
Well, we're going to be doing bonus episodes and we're going to be doing, it's not just additional listener questions on the bonus episodes. We're going to be doing like a peek behind the curtain, like discussing further what we discussed on that week's episode.
Yeah, we'll probably just stay on this couch for an additional 30 to 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And keep talking, little deeper dive. But
yeah, and there's going to be like little I think gifts and
some trinkets.
Do
you guys like trinkets?
Some trinkets, and it's just, we're going to really make it worth it. So stay tuned. Patreon coming soon.
Yeah, and if it's $5 a month, $10 a month, truly it is, what did you say? It's less than supporting a starving child. Is that what you said? Oh, you said cup of coffee. It's less than a cup of coffee, but also less than supporting a starving child.
You.
So anyways, you want to help a kid or you want to hear some more questions?
Come on. Choice is yours. Okay, so this first one is titled Listener Takes and Questions. They say, hey guys, big fan of Kelsey who introduced me to my main man, Chad. Haven't been able to see either of you in person, but will the next time you're in my neck of the woods, Salt Lake City. Well, I was just there, but...
And I will be there in December.
Going. Yep. There is no talk of the TISM, even though I was in GATE, Gifted and Talented Education, so I can relate.
I was in a program called Comet.
Yeah, I forget what mine was.
In Fergus Falls. I forget what yours was, probably because you weren't in it.
I was.
Oh, I forgot what my program was called because it never existed.
It was. It
Oh,
was me and a cow. It's Cheney. Just a bunch of farm kids.
yeah. Well, we really appreciate Kelsey's input because we just keep getting moo from this other one.
Yeah, our school was big, like FFA, Future Farmers of America. Just look at the time.
No, I was making sure it was on.
Oh.
Started to panic.
Oh, yeah, we're good. Okay, they say, to the guy that won't let his butthole be licked, screw you. After 20 plus years of marriage, I licked my wife's butthole and she literally exploded. I hope not literally.
And that's not murder.
Yeah.
You can't go to jail for murder for that if they explode.
You're just too good.
Yeah.
I personally am not a huge fan of fanny play. The words you guys use on here make me laugh so hard. A fanny play. But my wife is all about it, so I do what every good man does and get shit done. No puns intended.
Can we pause for a sec?
Yeah.
Imagine licking someone's butthole and they actually exploded.
Yeah.
I mean, now you can rob banks with your tongue. You're like, give me all your money. Do you have a gun? Mm-mm. And you stick your tongue out and they're like, are you the person? You're like, yeah. Like, okay.
Yeah.
That
the new Avenger.
Yeah,
Are you the licker?
Absolutely.
So they say, my wife and I, both in our 40s, with 4 now mostly adult children, have had some serious talks. And for us, the worst thing that could happen is having another kid. But hearing Kelsey saying she's come to terms was rough. Good luck on navigating that. So that was one of the emails.
Oh.
Hopefully you understand now. I didn't mean that to sound so negative.
I'd also like to add, if you're in your 40s with 4 adult children, you don't have to tell us you're from Salt Lake City. We got it. We figured it out.
We could have also guessed that having a 5th kid would be the worst thing that could happen to you. So, question time. Recently, after some vigorous lovemaking, my wife asked me if I could be more vocal. And also, I'd like to pause. Don't be too vigorous because you're going to have another kid. If I could be more vocal, not like dirty talk, but audible moans / gasps, etc. In my youth, I trained long and hard to be a masturbating ninja.
Yeah.
In a home with a shared bathroom, an open door policy, and a stern mother roaming the halls, I had to hone my skills to avoid detection. Then as I got older and married young at 20, we had kids to not wake or worse yet scar. We tried to make physical intimacy approachable and not frowned upon with our kids, but it's still awkward. Any pointers on how I can overcome 32 years of silent orgasms now? Thanks for the great podcasts. Mike, it's okay to use my name. P.S. Cats suck. Get a plant. They won't pee on your sofa. Or like mine, drop off live mice into your living room at 3 a.m. Jesus Christ. Whew. Man. First of all, thanks for writing in. This is a very funny and interesting email. I mean, I think I might defer to you because you are also on the quieter end.
Somewhat of a silent lover.
A silent lover.
I will let it, be known certain times. I will break the silence and say some things, or I will, and maybe it's the same thing, right? I had my mom and sister's bedroom was a little bit above mine.
Okay.
And they had to go down the stairs by my bedroom door to go up or downstairs.
Oh God. Okay.
And we had one bathroom and it was at the top of the stairs. So they have to go up and down to go to the bathroom as well.
Okay.
And so, yes, I did hone the thing as well. We were just like, anytime I see somebody like that at the gym, I'm like, oh man, you grew up with ladies, huh? And so, it's also interesting because you don't want to just fake. You don't want to just make a noise to make it.
Yeah.
Because then who knows what that's going to sound like?
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to sound like a caveman and I don't mean this to be offensive, but like a deaf person. Oh my God. I don't mean that to be offensive. I'm just saying like there's a certain sound that comes with that. And so...
Oh, it made me snort. Whoa.
And also, when I say things that are true, I don't ever worry about them because that's like a true thing and I'm not making fun. I'm just saying like there's a certain tone that comes with that.
Sure.
It's almost like talking through a yawn. And so
You're making it worse.
I don't think I am making it worse. Well, I don't. Anyways, you options. How about that? Oh. And so, but I think if she, I also think if she's asking for you to be more vocal like that, then she wants some kind of feedback, right?
Yeah.
Because we do stand-up comedy, which is great for immediate feedback. Mm-hmm. We're up there, we're telling our joke. We know if the crowd thinks it's funny or not. You're giving her a little more radio broadcaster vibes, where they're saying it into a microphone, but have no clue what's happening to the people in the car. Are they laughing? Are they hating it? Right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think she's just looking for a little bit of feedback.
Totally.
And you can do it. You can give like oh, yes, please.
Oh my God, shut up.
Ooh.
Stop.
Daddy wants another.
Stop. Oh God.
Well, I'm giving you options of what not to do right now, but you get it.
Oh my God. Oh. Yeah, I think it's also interesting because like you're talking about, for us, we have a crowd of people who are responding to us. Women, I mean, I know it's different for every woman, but like typically for dudes, you're like going the one time and it's at the end.
Right.
For us, you're kind of getting feedback through sounds throughout it, right? So yeah,
It's like a hot or colder game.
yeah. Yeah. But if you're not making any sounds throughout, and then also if you're not making any sounds when you finish, you're like, you are kind of not giving her validation. I think that it's like, this feels,
validation.
Yeah.
But also, if you're like 5 straight minutes of Pound Town and you're still not making noises, that's also kind of showing her you're in peak physical condition. Where it's like, I don't even breathe hard. I am going crazy right now, and I'm not even breathing hard.
It's true.
You married an athlete.
Yeah. So anyway, hope that's helpful. Okay. This next one is titled A Funny / Super Dark Thought and a Pregnancy Question.
We'll be the judge of the funny.
It is very funny and very dark. Because I read through. They say, hi, Chelsea, which is our couple name.
Sure.
Been listening to Pretend Problems since the beginning. Big fan of Chad's for years. Found him on Pandora and have been catching up on Kelsey's amazing work since finding her on Self-Helpless.
Thank you.
I've so far resisted writing in until I had something I thought was worth it, and then I was catching up after missing a few, and something happened that made me laugh out loud and feel horrible at the same time. In other words, the perfect excuse. The dark joke. In your sofa solo sesh, which I originally read as safe solo sesh, just as funny / dirty, in the middle segment, you were talking about your 5 to 7 people you'd want to meet and talk to who are no longer living. At one point, Chad mentioned that Anne Frank was on his list, which was thought-provoking and an unexpected choice. I must have zoned out for a few minutes because I came back in when Kelsey was going through her list. Cut to Chad mocking her, saying, I can get out of an escape room by myself, but I can't, blah, blah, blah. And I swear on all that is unholy, I still thought he was talking about Anne Frank.
Yeah, that's the conversation I'm going to have at dinner.
Yeah.
What took you so fucking long?
Yeah. I had to stop listening for a few minutes because I was laughing so hard, knowing I'm going to hell and leaning into it. That was, by the way, when I was saying Einstein.
Right.
And
yes.
Yeah. Anyway, here's my question to throw to both of you. My wife, who is truly my best friend and the meant-to-be partner to me, I wish every person could find in their life, is entering her 3rd trimester with our first child, a girl named Alex. Needless to say, I'm beyond ecstatic to be a girl dad. My question is, what is something that is an unexpected or unusual act of care I can do for my wife to make her last leg of the journey the best it can be? I've thought about pregnancy massages, taking her to the salon and spa, but I thought I'd throw it to you both to see if from your experience, Chad or Kelsey, from your friends, you heard things where the woman said, OMG, I can't believe he did that for me. Love you both. Chad, I hope to see you in NYC when you're here. And Kelsey, add some NYC dates. Provided we can find a sitter when the date arrives, we will both be there. I won't say your names because I don't know if you want me to. They say, P.S. I will be posting about your podcast on my own podcast soon. It's wonderful hearing people I feel are like my wife and I answer readers' questions and think similarly to how we would. That's very nice.
Yeah, very nice.
Man, my first thought was that I think it would be fun to recreate your guys' first date, or like a date that is significant to you guys, whether it's going out and doing it or like recreating it at home if she's, in 3rd trimester, maybe not feeling like going out and doing much, but something that is kind of like nostalgic and celebrating your guys' relationship, because once the baby comes, it will never be just the two of you again.
Right.
In terms of, obviously you can get sitters and whatever, but just, I think something that could really make her feel special and thought of, and also just a romantic thing about your relationship, because I obviously don't have kids, but I have heard that it can be really hard to maintain kind of romance and like taking care of one another when a baby's in the picture, because the focus can fall so much onto just the baby rather than the relationship still. Mm-hmm. So I think something like that could be really cool.
And I think going back to the last email question, lick her asshole. Make her explode. Let's get that kid out. Let's get that kid out of there. I probably would not do that at this point. But I would say, so my first thought was very similar to yours. I'm not saying go back and recreate a date, but I'm saying, do you guys have something that you do normally? Do you go to the movie? Do you go to a certain restaurant? Do you do this?
Yeah.
It's not going to be comfortable in the third trimester to go out in heat. It's not going to be comfortable in the third trimester to sit in the same like fucking movie chair for a long time. So if you can recreate whatever you're going to do, let's just say it's the movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you have a projector, I mean, this is asking a lot, but you put a sheet up, make it a big movie thing. If you don't, just watch it on TV, but get a new movie, not an old one. Get a new movie, make some popcorn, get what she normally gets there. Is it Sour Patch Kids?
Yeah.
Is it Reese's Peanut Butter Cups?
I love it. Hey,
And
my peanut test is in 2 days, guys. I'll
right.
have an update soon.
So get, just kind of do that. And then also while you're there, something you can't do at the theater is massage your feet, because feet and calves, lower extremities can become swollen. If you can like put some cold stuff on there and kind of just massage everything back into the circulatory system, I think that would be a good move too.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great answer. Okay, we're going to get into the chunk now of the baseball game. Yelling at baseball game questions.
Take me out to the ball game.
Okay. They say heckling at baseball game and update of is couples therapy the answer? So this is a two-parter.
Okay.
They say, hello, Kelsey and Chad. First things first, my wife will not give me BJs. So if she would only do it if she could lick my bum, I would shave my ass in her face more than women. Oh, I'm sorry. I would shove my ass in her face more than women twerking in music videos. Honestly, shave my ass in her face. Another great way to get
Also
a woman to
works.
like your asshole. I mean, that's a commitment. It's considerate. It's very nice. A pretend problem for a different time. Second, Kelsey, you are very funny and smart, but you have the wrong idea of baseball games. Chad is 1000% right and sounds like the best person to go to a baseball game with.
Thank you.
I understand some people are assholes and can take all of the fun out of watching games, but sounds like Chad does it right. And Chatty Daddy, I would love to go to a Twins game with you. I would even treat and not ask you if you are having fun. No offense, Kelsey.
Hey, shave your asshole and get those tickets. Let's go.
Also note that fan is short for fanatic. This is the Google definition. A person with an obsessive interest in and enthusiasm for something, especially an activity. True. Okay.
That's a great point.
And then they say, here's the answer for is the couples therapy the right answer? Short reminder from the episode Yay or Nay about Valentine's Day. My coworker wants to do couples therapy to help with his relationship, and his wife wants him to do his own therapy, but he refuses. I want to thank you for answering my questions. I related all your points to him in my own way. He kept saying he did therapy before and thinks he is done. He also mentioned that 3 therapy sessions would be a ton of money, which I responded with, but if it helps your marriage, isn't that worth all the money in the world? That if he could throw a few $1,000s, that shouldn't be that expensive.
It shouldn't be that expensive for 3.
3,
It should be under 1,000.
For sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
Almost under 500, I would think, but
Yeah.
maybe there'd be some that would be more.
Yeah.
But yeah, betting on yourself
Yeah,
is the best money you can spend, I think.
for sure.
Yep.
He just shrugged it off and ended the conversation and walked away. This was about a month ago. Do I bring it up again or do I leave it alone? I would leave it alone. I mean, this isn't your relationship. I think you've done a lot. You wrote into a podcast. You asked our advice. You tried our advice. And he's not really into it. And so it's like, unless, and forgive me because I don't remember all the details from the first time you wrote in. I don't know if this guy is like continuing to just like bring up this problem over and over. And maybe you're at a point where you're like, well, then if he won't take my advice, I'm kind of sick of hearing these issues over and over. If that's the case, then you got to do what's right for you in terms of, setting those boundaries. But it's certainly not on you at all. It never was. The fact that you've done this much is, I think, very, very nice. But I don't think you need to keep going.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, where if he keeps bringing it up like it's a problem, I think you're well within your right to say, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I tried, and you're not doing it.
Yeah.
So, but as far, if they're an adult and you've said, hey, I think this could work, and they go, because of this, no, that's on them.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Are you ready for the one email that was against you?
Of course.
Okay. And then I'll read some other positive ones.
I'm not actually gonna,
Okay.
everyone's entitled to their opinion.
Okay. Hi, my name is Justin.
Idiot.
Oh my God, you scared me. That really, gosh.
Okay, ready.
Hi, my name is Justin, and I have some things to say about Chad's behavior at games.
Is this our producer?
No.
Okay.
It is not normal to look up things to yell at players at a sports ball game. Already, I knew you're going to have an issue with sports ball game.
Yeah. Are you fucking kidding me right now?
I even asked friends that are super fans of their teams, and they've never thought to do that. And no.
Oh, I'm sorry you hang out with dipshits.
Oh, you gotta be nice.
I am being nice, but they've never thought to do that. Oh, I'm sorry.
You're not.
Your car exploded. Well, I never thought to change my oil. Not my fault you didn't think of it.
I love how you go, I'm sorry you're hanging out with dipshits. And you go, I am being nice.
Well, I am being as nice as I can. I don't know if your friends are dipshits. I do know. Maybe your friends need to come to a game with me. Maybe they need to experience, live a little life. Huh? On the wild side.
Okay.
Do, 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 do.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
And no, nobody is there to hear someone else yelling things like that. I'm not saying yelling shit during the game isn't warranted from time to time out of frustration or glee, but it sounds like this is a hobby for you. Here's a way to think about what you're doing in public at ball games. Is it something you would do at home watching a game with friends? Yes.
Yeah.
Chat. He would, because he does. Or are you just doing so to try to elicit a response from players on the field/court? Digging the podcast, guys. Kelsey, you must be a saint to put up with some of the things I've heard you discuss on the show about odd things Chad does.
That's fucked up. Listen, Justin. So when you're watching a sports ball game at home with your friends, just kidding. You can't have friends over because there's fucking bodies in your basement. Listen, dude.
Whoa, this is a listener. Let's be nice.
I am. I'm just kidding. But the thing is, it's like I think you'd have fun at a game with me. Because it isn't, I'm telling you, it's not like you're an idiot or fuck you. It's none of that stuff. It's kind of fun. And like I said before on the last episode, if people around me, if I'm getting a sense where they're like, dude, I shut it down immediately. But there are times where it's very, very fun. And like we had the whole right field bleachers at Wrigley Field when they played the Pittsburgh Pirates one time. Mm-hmm. I would yell, "Let me clear my throat," and the entire section would go, "Oh." It was so fun.
Oh my God.
Because and I'll tell you why I said it, because it was the right fielder's walk-up song when he was at bat.
Okay.
And so that's why we did it. And it's fun to go there, and you're in an open air stadium. You're not at home having these things bounce off the walls and bug people. Yeah. You're out there yelling and cheering. And
yeah. I will say too that when you do it at hockey games, I'm like in. It's fine. Feels like that's what the vibe is. It feels like everybody's doing it. Twins games, it's just like baseball's so much quieter, it felt like.
Well, it's because it's so slow.
Yeah, I didn't have that energy. A hockey game, it's like you're packed in. It's the players are fucking fist fighting. Baseball, there's no contact. It just was like, I think we just weren't, my friends and I weren't expecting it because you hadn't been saying anything. And then all of a sudden,
because I was told I'm not allowed to yell.
Did I actually say that?
Yeah. And then at a certain point I had it because it was like,
it
was the ninth inning. The Twins were winning. This guy walked 3 fucking players. Mm-hmm. That's 12 pitches that were not strikes in a row.
Okay.
And that's when I was like, Is this a Make-A-Wish? Is that who's out there? Is the person that threw the first pitch, are they letting him actually pitch the game now? Who is this person? I couldn't handle it anymore. Okay. Because now I'm sitting there and now it's a waste of my time.
Okay. May I also be clear that I did not say you're not allowed. I don't say you're not allowed to do things.
Can you please not? Which is your version of you're not allowed to do this.
But it is different.
I
That's
think,
very
of
different to say,
course,
can you
of course
please
it
not
is.
yell when my friends are here?
But I think
versus
when you
you're
say,
not allowed to yell.
That's true. But when you say, can you please not do something? I think because you said it that way, you expect it for sure to happen.
Well, I would like for you to consider it if I'm asking you nicely. I don't like ask for like when we go in public, I'm not like rolling in with, okay, do this. It's like this was this one time that I was like, hey, can you please while my friends are here?
You're slowly changing me into a different person at home. So when we do go into public, I will act a certain way. But that's not true. But sporting events.
You are on one today, and I want to flip your hat.
Sporting event, no. Okay. Sporting events, I don't know what my hair looks like. Okay. Sporting events, I just always think it's part of it. That's what I've always thought. It's if I wanted to just watch the game, that I would do at home.
Yeah.
But when I'm buying a ticket, I think that gives me a right to not ride a player the whole time, not make it not fun for the people around me. But if it's entertaining, I mean, I'm a clown by trade.
I know.
So sometimes I know, but sometimes it does get very fun. But we're different clowns. Sometimes it does get very fun when the whole crowd gets into it. And again, if I were to say, let me clear my throat, and somebody goes, yeah, let me clear my fucking throat, then I would be done with that.
Yeah.
Because I don't want kids to have to hear that.
Yeah.
That is true.
I get it. Yeah. Okay, let me do one more on the baseball games one, even though we got so many, but this one also ties in with the licking the asshole thing. I love how many of you are like invested in this man's journey.
I know.
To getting a blowjob.
I don't think there's anyone that has probably written in that's like, hey man, if you don't want it, don't do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Everyone's like,
do it.
What's her email?
Yeah. Yeah. So they say it's titled Yelling at Baseball Games. It says, hi, Chad and Kelsey. Love you both and just wanted to share my thoughts on this. I will take an avid fan yelling over the baseball savant explaining to their date/companion the lesser known rules and idiosyncrasies of the game. It's even worse when they are wrong in said explanation. Also, tell him to try a toy. No tongues, no fingers, no things that may go in his mouth at a later point, but I'm sensing some what if it turns me gay vibes from that young man. Love the podcast, highly relatable. I just thought that was an interesting perspective because we hadn't even brought that up of like, oh, I wonder if there's maybe any of those. Like, I don't know what that's like as a guy, but I would imagine like that has to be a thought for some dudes of like, well, if I like this, does that mean I'm like into that in terms of men, you know? Well,
I said this, I can't remember, on an album once, I think, but it's like nothing's gay when you're plugged into a woman. You know what I'm saying? Like you're actively being a heterosexual.
Yeah.
So your butthole getting touched.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem.
Yeah. I know, just people come from like weird homophobic backgrounds and like get shamed. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. I just, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. Yeah. But I think once you do it, you're probably gonna not want it to stop.
Yeah.
What'd you smile at me like that for?
Well, I'm just saying that if he does do it, I don't think we'll expect another update from him because he will have exploded.
Yeah, that would be. That'd be, hey guys, I'm writing this follow-up email from bed. We haven't left.
Yeah. Oh, God. All right, guys, we got to wrap up for the day, but it's pretendproblemspodcast@gmail.com if you want to write in. God, we have so many to get to. We will be starting the Patreon very, very soon. We can't wait. So.
It's super fun. So when we started this, I thought it was just going to be an hour hang for the two of us. And I just thought it would bring us closer together, which I think it has.
Totally.
But also hearing people after shows in public, not even at a show, just be coming up and being like, oh my God, your podcast. This has been very fun. And the listener responses and kind of the relationships that are happening in the email back and forth, I love it so much. So thank you for being a part of that and actually contributing.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. All right, we will talk to you next week. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.